My name is Kevin Hines, and in the year 2000, I nearly died by jumping off the Golden Gate Bridge. I was depressed, I was terribly suicidal, and I thought I was a burden to my family. This was the furthest thing from the truth. I am beautiful, and so are you. Life is the greatest gift we've ever been given or will ever be given. So live it with me, and be here tomorrow and every single day after that. Welcome to the Mental Health Marvels Podcast. Hey guys, what is crackin' Hope Nation? It's Kevin Hines, and this is Mental Health Marvels Podcast. Not to be confused with marbles, those are in your brain. This is about marvels and being marvelous. A mental health marvel is a steward of change for someone in mental pain, and here we are with my good friend, Wendell Fields. What's cracking?
Oh, what's going on?
Good to see you, family.
Good to see you again.
Oh, darn day. Let me get this cough out of my system because
Wow.
It's been a minute.
It's been 500 years.
No.
I used to have hair back then.
You used to have hair, lots of hair. You had dreadlocks in fact. No, you didn't. Okay, Wendell. For the audience that doesn't know, how did we meet? How did we become such brothers and friends?
Oh my! Let me tell you this story. So, in the story here, I met Kev way back. I think it was like 2017 or 16, one of those, and he was a guest speaker for a mental health symposium down at Lake Lanier, I think.
It's Lake Lanier, you're right.
And ended up that he shared a story, and I'm bawling, I'm crying like crazy because he touched my heart so much. He gave this just a simple thing. He said once he had jumped, he said that I came to myself and I was like, what am I doing? I don't want to die. I really do want to live. I want to live. I really do want to live. And that just changed my whole life because inside, I was saying, I want to live. I want to live. I really do want to live. After that, I'm bawling. My co-worker's there. And I'm like, I just want to go up and meet this guy. And man, I told him that day, I said, you saved my life. And he was like, what you talking about? And I said, you just believe me, you saved my life. And at that point, I was thinking about committing suicide again, attempting again. And you came in and you were like, can I get your number and everything? And I was like, yeah, sure. But I just faded in the crowd and didn't really expect to see him anymore, really. And then it ended up that you was doing your film, your documentary, and you used one of the employers that I work for, the Behavior Health Link, and their mobile crisis response team. So I intentionally faded in the crowd because I didn't want to make a scene or anything, but I just wanted him to know that he had really touched my life, and we didn't know that he was getting ready to work on a project involving the company that I work for, which is Behavior Health Link. And in that, we talked about the mobile crisis response team as well as the call center that's there. And he came in, and I was just like, oh man. They told me he was coming, but I was like, yeah, I probably won't be here. I'm probably going to go out on a call and won't see him. And they were like, no, you're going to be staying. And in that, I saw you, man, my face just lit up again. And I was just like, man, he just don't know how he really saved my life. Again, you just don't know how you've really changed and really saved my life.
Well, brother, you put a point to say that, and I got to tell you, I think that you heard a message that touched your heart, but then you went home and did the work to save your own life. Yeah. That's what you did. You went home and you did the work.
Yes, sir.
And here you are today, and it's our film. Greg DeCherry was co-director, co-producer on that film. Shout out, Greg. Good to see you. But you're as big a part of that film as anybody else, and your message was heard loud and clear, and it meant a lot to a lot of people. And it was a great deal. Your piece of that film, just like everybody else in it, had a huge role to play in it being as successful as it has been to reach as many people as it has to get people out of that internal struggle and into asking for help. So we are thankful to you, my man. And I want to go over here a couple of things. I want to go back in time for a minute. Can we go back in time for a minute?
Okay.
I want to go back in time, and I want to know. Before this interview, we asked Wendell 10 facts about his life that would help us draw through a narrative in this podcast. And I want to hear from you. This disease you had as a newborn baby, and eclampsia.
Correct.
Can you tell me and the people who don't know about it, what is it? What did it do to you? How does one get it upon being born into this world? And how did it affect the rest of your life?
Okay. Well, eclampsia is a medical condition where, if you ever heard of fetal poisoning, I was poisoning my mom while she was pregnant with me. And that means that she had high blood pressure. She was having seizures at times. Her vision was blurred, or sometimes she couldn't see that well. She was just lethargic and just really not doing well. And I just remember from what she says and from what my sister was saying, how that my mom really wasn't doing well with the pregnancy of me in there. And so a doctor by the name of Dr. Henry Wendell Foster, it's the doctor that birthed me, but he went to my grandmother and he said, which one do you want to live? And my grandmother said both of them are going to live. And lo and behold, that when I was being born, it was sort of complications, not just with my mom, but here it is, I'm trying to get birthed out through the birth canal, and it's just not happening. And I just remember my mom said they had to push me back in her womb and then did a C-section to get me out. So mom got high blood pressure. She's having seizures. All this is going on in my birth. So when I came out, I only weighed 2 pounds, 10 ounces. And
2 pounds and 10 ounces.
And I could fit in your
palm of your hand.
Baseball cap.
Wow.
That's how big I was. And people just said that I'll be underdeveloped, I'll be small all my life, I'll have disabilities for the rest of my life, and lungs just wouldn't form, or all these negative things that came about. And they said they had me in an incubator. I have a picture of me being on top of the incubator, and I was about from the tip of my finger to about where my watch is, right here on top of that incubator. And in that, I just remember, and from what my sister said, just fighting for life, just fighting to stay alive. And the thing about it is also, my mom was diagnosed with bipolar disorder at the age of 21. So here it is. Later on, I find out that I have depression because of that gene that's in the family. So all these good things are happening at my time of birth.
Really tough times for you and your mom and your family, and you are, in a sense, in a world of pain. But here you are with us right now.
Woo.
What a blessing! What a gift!
Yeah.
And what was it like growing up with a mom who had and lived with bipolar disorder?
Well, I didn't recognize it at first. It wasn't until maybe when I became maybe about 10 or so that I recognized my mom's behavior, actions, and behaviors were just sort of different. She would become energetic, become like I can do this, that, and the other. My mom just cooked a lot. I remember baking. She made just meals upon meals. And then when I was about 14 years old, I just remember my mom. My mom is a spectacular person in the way of that she didn't allow her mental illness to define who she was. She became the first African American female nurse at the VA hospital that's down in Decatur, Georgia. Wow. And there she was a nurse practitioner, and she's right underneath a doctor, basically. And one day I just remembered my mom wasn't doing so well. She was in the bed a whole lot, just really depressed, wasn't really going in. And I just remembered my father saying that, well, your mom had a nervous breakdown. And I say, huh? What's that? And it's like she's just not doing well. And from there, my mom just sort of like went downhill because she just wasn't able to perform her duties at work that well any longer. And it ended up that she retired early with that. But for my mom to accomplish what she had done, it was amazing, and that has set me up for what I'm doing today, which is giving back. My mom always gave back, just not in nursing, but the church involvement that she was in. She was just great.
What's Mom's name?
Her name is Barbara Jean Fields.
Barbara Jean Fields, thank you for making this amazing man. We appreciate you and him to no end. So you know you grow up in this a bit of a tough environment, if you would say, a difficult young adult life. But you grow up, you bury your head in work, and then you did have an attempt to take your life.
Yes. So
tell me about that work you had to go hard at that, and then tell me about the first attempt you made on taking your life.
So
and why you felt that was
necessary.
Yeah.
Well, in everything, had a work ethic, worked hard every day. My sister is the reason why I got involved into mental health, and my mom. But what my sister accomplished in her time of going to school and becoming, she had a master's in psychobiology. And in that, it really did impress me. And I just remember getting involved in mental health. I worked at a crisis facility and was working there hard. Got up there and got a promotion to work in day services and did day treatment. And, you know, I'm understanding my mom's condition a little bit better. I get my degree in psychology. And I'm like, oh, okay, I'm understanding more about bipolar, schizophrenia, major depression. But for me, I was afraid to say, hey, I'm going through some things because of that nasty word stigma. And in that, I hid, I hide. I did some amazing stuff. I became an ordained minister and working hard in the church and all that good stuff, but it was all just to hide behind, because hey, the more you do, the better you feel and everything. But I still had that missing component that my brain was firing, but it wasn't firing on all cylinders.
Were you filling a void, you would say?
Yeah, I was. And in that, I just, well, you just got to work hard. That's what I kept on saying. Just got to work hard, got to work hard, got to work hard. And I was working, and I said, you know what? This ain't getting it. Maybe if I get married, that is going to, oh, yeah. Married, and it didn't. You know, I still felt bad. I still felt worse. I thought that my wife was going to, quote, cover me. And it's like, not necessarily that way. Ends up that married for 13 years, but yet in the marriage we were having problems, and at that point I was sad. I couldn't function that well, and it ended up into a divorce. 13 years of marriage, knew this person all the way from high school, and I got out. In that, had a son in that. And ends up that with the divorce, I think my son is either 2 or 3. And I told her about the divorce, and she was upset, she was hurt, she was mad. And then I just remember at the courthouse, just her sobbing, and I'm just like sobbing too. And I'm just like,
your wife didn't see it coming.
No,
Wasn't prepared for it. Okay.
We talked, but she just really avoided it. And when it came, it was like suddenly, as they say, and it just took her back. And next thing I knew, that's when child support was coming. And I felt like the courts had done me unfairly, but when it came down to it, she expressed that I hadn't given her any child support. And it wasn't true. And so they put an arrears on me. An arrears is when they go for the father or the person because they haven't paid child support. So I ended up having to go down to the child support office to prove and show, hey, I've been paying child support. But at that time, once again, here it is, I got divorced. Before that, I'm not feeling good about myself. I'm working hard. Hey, I got this ministry as far as working in one and really working with youth, and everything should or seem or be in place to where I'm good. But no. So it ends up that I just remember when I got the letter saying that I owed this money.
That you'd already paid.
Yeah, that I already paid. It ended up that I just say, it's all about money. That's all it is. I'm going to give them money. At that time, I was living in a place where the train came frequently. And I just said, if she wants money, I'm going to give her money. She can have all the money. Because, you know, in that you have to have this certain amount of money for life insurance. You have to have that within this situation I'm in with child support. And I got up there and I said, well, I'm just going to kill myself. I'm no use to anybody. And I'm like, that'll be a good way of helping him so he can have that money. And then you don't have to worry about seeing me or anything because that's all that it's about. And so I ended up, I had to time it correctly because I didn't just I wanted the train to hit me at the speed where it couldn't stop. And so I got up there, I was coming down the road and I'm looking at the train, I'm like, okay, so if I speed up or slow down, it's gonna hit me right where it crosses the street. And I just remember driving, and the train is coming, and I say, okay, it's got full speed. It's done. The boom, boom. The arms have come down. The flashing lights, all that stuff is going on. And I remember I gotta time it. And I just remembered hearing this voice that as plainly as I'm talking to you said 2 words to me. Said, your son. That was it. And I say, my son, what does he got to do with this? I'm doing this for him. And I'm sitting there still driving and in my mind saying, what do he got to do with this? I'm doing this for him, don't you? And a nut, and again it said, you're and I got and I just, all I know is that I turned and I was getting ready to hit the bar, and the train was coming. There's a ditch on my left hand side, and I said, if I drive into the ditch, it's still gonna be over. Somehow, some way, the car turned, and it turned, and there's a tree that's there, and there's a light pole that's beyond it. All I can tell you is that I ended up in between those two poles, and I sat there, and I just cried and cried for a good hour. And then the next thing I know, I opened up my eyes, and I said, I gotta go get some help. I was afraid to get help because I didn't want people to label me, stigmatize me as that I'm a reject, that I'm no good, and I'm less than, that I'm nothing. I work in a profession that people come in every day who feel that way. And yet
Take a breath, Wendell. Take a breath. Take a minute. Take a minute. I'm going to get you some tissue. I'm going to take a break. Cut. Hey, Hope Nation. We took a minute there to take a breather with Wendell. It's getting pretty emotional. I was crying. He was crying. And that's okay. We're all allowed to cry. That's why we have tear ducts.
Yes, sir.
We're biologically built that way, or else they wouldn't exist. Wendell, you're wearing a shirt that says it's okay to talk. Oddly enough, when we first met and we did the film Who Said the Ripple Effect, and we started making positive affirmation merch that people could wear that meant something to them. As a black man in Atlanta, in the South, who grew up in Tuskegee, Alabama, right, which we'll talk about in a minute, growing up in a culture that doesn't talk about suicide, mental health, mental illness, anxiety, stress. We just forge onward. What gets you up in the morning, walking outside with that shirt on? And has anybody ever asked you, what does it mean?
Oh man, you wouldn't believe how I use this as a teaching tool where I work at, but with a different purpose. That's the thing. In this, I use it as a motivation for people now. I go in where I work in, and I say, hey, I just want you to know this to my coworkers. It's okay to talk. And I say, what you're doing today is you're helping people to reach their highest and their best today, because you're getting them to open up their mouth, which is the secret weapon that they never knew they had, in which they open up their mouth and they say, I ain't doing good today, I am doing good, and they use those words, those powerful words, to help set up people to be their best and their highest for just today. And in that, I use this shirt and I say, hey, you're doing a fantastic job of letting people know that it's okay to talk to you, because when they talk to you, you give them an environment that they can consider safe to talk to talk about, to get it out. And then you guide them and lead them in a way of helping them to say, oh, that's what's going on. I don't have to be ashamed. I don't have to be fearful. And I say, you're creating that environment, that atmosphere for them to continue their journey into being the best that they can be. So I say thank you. and it's okay to talk. They crack up, they laugh, they say thank you and all that good stuff. But on Fridays, I usually have an inspirational saying or a shirt on, and it really does help the camaraderie, but it helps the clients also.
So you're creating this center of teamwork, camaraderie, and hope all at once, and it's having a great effect on your coworkers. The behavioral health link, for those watching right now, maybe in Atlanta, somewhere else in the world, what is the behavioral health link, and why is it so important as a crisis center of service here in Atlanta?
Well, two things. Now, I work with Viewpoint Health,
Right.
and this is where I wear the shirts a lot. And then now, Behavioral Health Link is a totally different story. Why? Because we go out to where you are. That's
Mobile
the
crisis.
difference. Mobile crisis response team. And in that, you call into the call center. They talk about resources for you, connect you with resources that's in your community, or if you just need someone to talk to, they're there for that. But sometimes people do need that eyeball assessment, and that's where we come in. And so we go out to assess the individual with mental health issues, with substance abuse issues, or the DD, developmentally disadvantaged individuals. We go out to help them too, and we try to see if it's manageable, the crisis, if it's manageable in the community, or sometimes they have to go into the hospital because they're trying to hurt themselves or they're trying to hurt other people. And in that, we go out, we do the assessment, we talk, we try to get the individual to paint their picture, see what's going on, see how we can help them, and then after that, we come up with a plan. And in that, some people will go with the plan, some people are not that well to see the plan, and if they're trying to hurt themselves or trying to hurt others, then we have to step in with a different approach. So that's what we do. It's an amazing thing. Just the other day, last week, I saw a child who was talking about killing themselves. I was able to share some of my story and encourage him to get it out. A young black male, about 10 years old.
10 years old.
And he went in, he was sort of scared at first, but he started coming. And I said, you know what, man? I said, I was just thinking about you last week. And I said, how is it going for you? He said, it's going better than better. He said, I have someone to talk to about my issues and my problems, and everything is just better. And his mom was there, and his other brother was there, who was about 7. And he was like, thank you. And he gave me a hug. And the mom was, crying and all that. But she was like, thank you. Thank you. So, Mobile Crisis Team, y'all doing one heck of a job. Keep on keeping on doing what you're doing, because y'all making a difference. Believe me, y'all are.
Wendell, you're making a difference that is absolutely epic, and where you feel I helped you, you're helping others. You're just passing on that paying it forward, which is what we're here to do in the first place. We're meant to be stewards of change for people with mental pain. We're meant to be mental health marvels, and you are absolutely one that I after knowing you for this long, have reversed the rules, and I'm looking up to you, my friend. I'm very grateful for what you're doing. I really appreciate it. It means the world to a lot of us, and I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for coming on to the podcast, for sharing this part of your story. We greatly appreciate it. It means the world to everybody in this room. And brother, keep doing what you're doing, and keep changing lives. And we got to get you some new shirts with some new sayings so you can go out there and impact some folks in a big way. And you just let us know your size, and they'll be on their way, okay?
Okay.
All right, family. Thank you very much. Friends, family, everybody in between. This is the Mental Health Marvels podcast. This is Wendell Fields. We are so grateful to have him on the show and hear his story of triumph over severe adversity in many different ways. You triumphed over a lot of things in your life to be here right now. What a gift it is to have him here next to me. Guys, whatever you're doing at home right now, go to kevinhinesstory.com/shop. Get your healthy merch because it could change someone's life tomorrow or today, and be here tomorrow and every day after that, and help us help more people around the world through suicide prevention initiatives and programs. Through the sales of that merchandise and the proceeds that we make go straight back in to helping people just like you. Bye, guys. Be well. Be here tomorrow. And Wendell, get home safe.
Yes, sir.
Take care, my friend. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, y'all.